Guys, in this MCU catalog thing, we're reviewing every MCU movie. We're officially in the end game. Get no. Okay, so before I start my review of one of the greatest superhero movies of all time, I'm first going to talk about what we're doing for the final phase of Marvel, Phase 3. So we're reviewing every movie in Phase 3 except for any movie I saw in theaters and reviewed when it was in theaters. A couple of them are reviewed in my old MGD channel. Those ones don't count. If I reviewed it on Infinity Week, like the last episodes, doesn't count. If you're on Infinity Week, you're not very good. I'm kidding. Those reviews suck, though. But we're going to still review every Marvel movie that leads up from it. The final one will be Ragnarok, and then Endgame. So let's do it.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar.
Captain America Civil War, and I don't know how I get to review this movie in April of 2019. You'd think I would have reviewed this movie a while ago, but I'm reviewing it now. So Captain America Civil War, or Avengers 2.5, that's a common joke, is the third installment of the Captain America trilogy, or the third, I'm going to stop with the Avengers jokes, is the third installment to the Captain America trilogy. And in this movie, there are these accords that are saying that the Avengers, you guys should be monitored. You guys cause a lot of destruction, and we like you saving our planet, but you guys need to stop causing destruction. And then Captain America's like, no, he has a side of people, and then Iron Man's like, yes, and he has a side of people, and then all the Avengers except for Thor and Hulk, because it would be way too overpowered at that point, have a giant epic battle, and now we got Civil War. Oh, there's also a plot about the Winter Soldier there. There's a lot in this movie. So guys, I've said before what my most anticipated films of all time were, at least the ones I was hyping up the most. Right now my number one is probably Endgame. Number two might even be Rise of Skywalker, but for now I'm not going to count that one. Endgame is my number one most anticipated film of all time. I know that sounds weird. It's like, wait, a new movie is? But, come on, it's Endgame. Infinity War would probably come in as my second most anticipated, but that one I was like, ooh. But then my third is Captain America Civil War, to be honest. This was at my peak of super big fan of Marvel movies. I was such a huge fan of them back in 2016, and I've continuously been. In 2017, I slowed down a bit to being a huge fan of them, but I was still a pretty big fan, and I'd see all their movies on opening weekend. But now, in 2019, I'm the biggest fan I've probably ever been. But, essentially, back in 2016, I was like, oh my god, I really liked Avengers Age of Ultron, so I was like, frick yeah, Civil War. And the more I thought about it, the more it's like, oh my god, Civil War. The trailers in this movie were flippin' fantastic. These are some of my favorite trailers. In fact, trailer 2 is up there with my favorite trailers of, the Endgame trailer, the Endgame trailer 2, the Infinity War trailer 1, and this Force Awakens trailer 2. Civil War is up there with one of my favorite trailers. I know it's weird to have favorite trailers, but come on, trailers are cool. But I was just ready for this movie. And it got 98%. First off, it did get 98%. It's down to 91 now. But it was like, oh my god, it's going to be amazing. And I saw it. And we can talk about it. So the first thing I'm going to say about this movie is this. And that is that this movie is very, very much more intelligent than Age of Ultron. And I know I really liked Age of Ultron, but that's because that has a lot of really good writing techniques in it, but nowhere near the level of writing techniques that Civil War uses. The divisiveness in this movie, going in this movie, I was on Team Iron Man because I liked Iron Man more than Captain America. I wasn't smart enough to think, should they be or not? I never thought about that. And watching the movie, I think I was on Iron Man's team the whole time, but I didn't hate Captain America's team, and I wasn't like, yeah, Iron Man, Captain America. But one of the best elements about this movie is how it treats both sides. No side is treated more right or better than the other. Which, yes, Captain America's side is far more, I think that one's better. But Tony Stark, I guess, has a point. I like his point, but in the trailers I was thinking, I bet back when the trailers were happening. But if I looked at them now, I think, wait a minute. Wait, Captain America's far smarter. Why are you on that side? But then, the more I think about it, then in the movie, there are some really good conflicting points in this movie. It brings up how many bad things have happened because of this. It originally starts with Iron Man realizing that innocent people's lives are completely ruined by events like Sokovia in New York. And he's like, oh crap, I ruined someone's life. And that's a really good argument there. It's really well written. And the same for Captain America's side. I mean, sure, it's a point where I agree with, but it's mainly more, the movie is mainly more focused on, let's balance out the arguments, and the Russo brothers top that off perfectly. And let's get right to some more stuff in this. Next thing, characters in this movie. This movie handles the abundance of characters it has better than Age of Ultron. Again, like I said, I liked Age of Ultron, and I don't think it helps its characters badly at all. But there are a lot of characters in the movie, like Vision. He's boring. Scarlet Witch, sure, she had a little arc, but it wasn't that huge. Quicksilver died. May he rest in peace. Most of the Avengers in the movie have arcs, but none of the likes of this movie. By the end of this movie, like, everyone is a different person. This might be, you don't need to, don't quote me here, but this might be, at this point, Marvel, the biggest change the Avengers have gone through. Because they argued, and then they fought. Like, let's see, Iron Man is a complete, like at the beginning of Age of Ultron, yeah, he's an interesting, like, he's like a snarky guy, and he actually creates Ultron. At the end, he's more responsible, but at the beginning of this movie, he feels guilty, and at the end of the movie, he's like, wow, oh my god, like he's changed by the end of this movie. I don't know how to describe him now. But at the end of this movie, he becomes way more responsible. And I just love his arc in this movie, to be honest. I mean, I can't really pinpoint it. Now, it might sound like you're like, wait a minute, he can't prove he has a good arc? Mm-hmm. But it's just because it's so good. And I can't find his arc, but whatever. Captain America's arc is very good. It's very good. At the beginning of the movie, he's like, we have to save the world and stuff like that. And at the end of the movie, it's like brought up like, wow, that was... You know, I'm a different person. By the end of this movie, he's a lot more cautious. He's literally, by the end of this movie, not really Captain America anymore. He literally drops his shield. Spoiler alert for this movie. Everybody's seen it, though. He drops his shield, and he's, like, done with Captain America at the end of this movie. And in the next Infinity War, he literally has the star blacked out. Sure, in Endgame, he's Captain America again. I don't know why, though, because they kind of betrayed him. And how to handle such things happening. This is organized somewhat chaos. It's not really chaos. It's like it's not like Ragnarok where it's like organized chaos, because it is chaos, but it's organized and well put together. This is like a lot very well organized. Like, there are two plots going on at the same time, and they're two plots, but they really weave and intertwine with each other very smoothly. All the Avengers in this movie. Okay, we have Spider-Man. Tom Holland Spider-Man. I've talked about this guy already, so I don't know if I have to talk about him that much more, but I freaking love him. My favorite Spider-Man, to be honest. Miles Morales is probably my second favorite from Spider-Verse, but this guy is... Tom Holland's a great actor, and he is the perfect Spider-Man. He's a nerd, but he's not, like, complete dork like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies. It's not like... I'm forgetting his name now at this point. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. He's a total dork. The Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, he's totally like a jock in that movie. I don't like him at all in the movie. I don't like those movies at all. Basic Spider-Man 2 is god-awful. But this is how to write a good Spider-Man. He is fun, he's making jokes, he's a middle schooler, and he's so excited to be here. And now one person, Ralph the Movie Maker, did say he doesn't really belong in this movie, but I don't care if Spider-Man's in it. So I don't care if he doesn't belong, he's awesome in the movie. And another character in this movie, Black Panther. Well, he isn't as fleshed out in this movie as you'd hoped he would be. You have more stuff in this movie, but he's as fleshed out as he can. And he's also pretty freaking awesome, so I like him. Also, jeez, the Zemo plot. Alright, so some people don't like Zemo as a villain. I like him fine. I don't think he's bad at all. He definitely isn't ruining this movie at all for me. He's not one of the things I remember. He's one of the more forgettable aspects of this movie, because everything in this movie is pretty much memorable. But I really do dig Zemo as a villain. I like this motivation, but I just don't remember him when I think about the movie. He's so overshadowed by everything else that's awesome in this movie. God, I could gush about, like, everything in this movie, but Zemo's a good villain. I could literally spend hours gushing about why almost every piece of this movie works. Can I take like 20 minutes to talk about the airport battle? Oh my god. It's awesome. It's essentially heroes just fighting each other. There's some amazing choreography in this movie. You know, I said I like the action in Age of Ultron. Yeah, that's a big CGI orgy still. It still's cool, but it's still CGI orgy. This is not as much CGI. Is there CGI in this movie? Frick, yeah, it's a Marvel movie. There's CGI in every Marvel movie. But in this movie, it's far more toned down. Let me cough, because I've been talking for a while. It's far not toned down. It's like more realistic. It's more well choreographed. There are some incredibly well done fights in this airport scene. Black Panther versus Captain America. Spider-Man versus Captain America. You get the point. Ant-Man was freaking awesome. Can anybody give me some orange slices? Oh, one thing I really dig in this movie is Wanda and Vision. And that's very much improved on in Infinity War. I really like it in this movie, but Infinity War, it's possibly one of the highlights of that movie. In Civil War, the relationship between Vision and Wanda is incredibly fleshed out. Vision, one of the more boring characters in Age of Ultron. Wanda, for the most part, a fine written character in Age of Ultron, but definitely not one of the more memorable aspects of that movie. Both the characters, not very great, are just shot through the roof in good. I don't know how the Russo brothers make such great movies. I love I love Wanda's character in this movie so much. I love Vision's character in this movie so much. I love how they're divided onto either side. They don't even fight each other, and at the ends, they actually help each other at the end. I like that. That was good. For once, War Machine is a character. I didn't ever expect to say that. War Machine's one of the cool. He's cool. I like him, but he's not interesting at all. But in this movie, while he is one of the best aspects of this movie, I don't know if we needed him to still be alive. That was really mean, but we seriously could have killed him off and been totally fine. Why didn't we kill him? I'm fine if we killed him. It would have made more stakes. But then again, if you realize that you have to rewrite the entire incredibly well-written third act of this movie, you'd have to kind of rewrite it, though. Oh, holy crap, I totally forgot to talk about Bucky Barnes. Winter Soldier in this movie is not as good as he is in Winter Soldier, because he talks more, and he's not that interesting to listen to. But the main thing that makes him so good is Captain America being with him. I don't find him boring. For some reason in Age of Infinity War, when he's on screen, and I watched the movie very recently, when he was on screen, I didn't think, ugh, boring. I thought, okay, sure, it didn't bother me for some reason. He's not boring, but he's just not one of the best parts. Sebastian Stan's a great actor, but he doesn't really do much. I mean, there's some scene in this movie, the fight with him and Iron Man, he shows a lot of good acting there. But other than that, he's kind of monotone the entire movie. And I do like how he remembers Cap. I like that. I like the whole Germany part. The whole Germany part is awesome. The scene in the cafe where Iron Man, Black Widow, Black Panther, they all fight Winter Soldier without their suits on is super cool. That's really good action right there. My Civil War review and Age of Ultron review are both longer than my Infinity War review. What do you have to say about that? The relationship between Tony and Captain America is flippin' fantastic relationship there, but it's just really good. The one between Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, and Steve Rogers is so well done, because the whole point of it is that Captain America is thinking, I can say he's alive. I can have my best friend back. And I love that. That's actually really good character building there, like this whole movie is. And let's talk about the third act of this movie. While a lot of people do comment on how the airport battle is like the big climax of the movie, then it goes to the raft, and after their post-airport battle stuff and pre-third act stuff isn't terrible for me. Some people are like, okay, this is where the movie kind of dips down, but I'm like, whatever. I find it interesting. I think the plot is incredibly well written, and I'm thinking, alright, I enjoy watching these characters walk around and talk. And they're interesting characters, and they're really well acted. So I enjoy those scenes. They're not as good as the other scenes, but they definitely still keep me invested in the plot. And it's nice to have a little bit of downtime for how heavy, literally how heavy the third act is. You thought that the airport battle was good. The third act of this movie really goes to show Captain America versus Iron Man. It's like the big moment of Captain America versus Iron Man. It first starts out with them teaming up to go kill Zemo, and you're like, alright, team up. What are we going to do here? Are they going to fight together with something? I did see that one shot in the trailer where they were fighting, and it wasn't in the movie. But then they go, and then they realize that's like, okay, Zemo is behind a really big door, and Iron Man could blow it up, but he doesn't, because it would kill everybody. And anyway, they go to the computer, and there's footage playing on the computer. And while Zemo's plan is needlessly complicated, it works. So, no, genuinely, his plan isn't great in this movie, but it's definitely not something that pulls the movie down for me. They watch this video on the camera, and it shows Tony Stark's, it shows his mom getting murdered by the Winter Soldier, and his parents in general getting murdered. When that happened in the movie, I thought, what? Like, I was insane. I was like, what the? Oh, no. Oh, my God. And then, Iron Man gets mad at the Winter Soldier, and one of the things that's on Captain America literally points us down the battle, and he says, like, Steve, it wasn't him. No, Tony, it wasn't him. And then he's like, no. And he's like, I can't help it. He killed my mom. I'm going to kill him. There was a hugely well done battle. They go down in the basement, and in this one, instead of being like the first battle, where it's like kind of just like the airport battle, where it's just kind of awesome and stuff, and Iron Man's not really trying that hard because he's like, okay, I don't want to kill him at this point. I just want him to get arrested. But now it's like, okay, you guys are dead. And even Captain America knew about it, and he didn't tell. That sucks. Who else didn't see the scene? Who else didn't see this coming? When Winter Soldier tries to rip the arc reactor out of Iron Man just shoots it and blows the freaking arm off? What? I didn't see that coming. I was like, whoa. In the movie, I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. And then Captain America and Iron Man have a really brutal fight. It's probably one of the most brutal, not the most brutal superhero fight ever. That award goes to Logan. But other than Logan, this is one of the more brutal superhero movies. And note this, I haven't seen really, the only rated R superhero movie I've actually sat down and watched the full length of is Logan. And if you haven't seen Logan, you're really wasting your time. That movie's freaking fantastic. And this is one of my longest movie reviews ever, weirdly. That's kind of funny. And it's a movie that's been out for a couple years, but I just love it so much. There is some freaking fantastic action in this. It's so intense. Takes the shield, stabs it into the arc reactor, and I thought, uh-oh, is he gonna die? Oh, wait, no, he got rid of that thing in Iron Man 3. Then, he's sitting there, he has the shield in the chest, he's like, or he took the shield out, and he's like, that shield doesn't belong to you, my father made it. He drops it on the ground, and I was like, what? He dropped the shield on the ground. He gave up his shield. What? And then, yep, we don't see any more Captain America. We see Iron Man go back. And he's like, oh crap, that changed me, to be honest. That was eye-opening. That's what he's kind of like. Then, this review's 18 minutes long. Jeez. Maybe even 19. No, probably like 20 minutes, actually. Anyway, we see this really well-done letter that's being read to Tony. And it shows all these scenes of the raft getting ransacked. You can see like soldiers on the ground. And we see the final shot of the movie shows Captain America walking up to the glass. He's about to rescue those guys. And then I could talk about the post-credit scenes of this movie, but I don't think I need to, since it's not setting up for anything. If this was actually spoiler review, I guess the post-credit scenes show Winter Soldier and Wakanda, frozen in ice, ready for Infinity War. Because, no, Black Panther literally takes place in 3 weeks from this movie. So, yes, Bucky Barnes is still frozen in that ice. Yep, this movie. Alright, so listen, guys. Civil War is a freaking masterful movie, in my opinion. Most people will be like, oh, it's not masterful. It's a Marvel movie. It's not. No, I genuinely think this is an incredibly well-made movie. And most people dig it. YMS liked it. Your movie sucks like this. Ralph the Movie Maker liked it. I mean, sure, I hate everything makes it. Yeah, I hate everything. Likes a lot of movies. I mean, he likes Marvel, fine. And Ralph likes Marvel. YMS isn't a big fan, but he's YMS, so what do you expect? But how well this movie's made so well. It's basically, what if Age of Ultron was a lot better? Not saying I dislike Age of Ultron. I still like that movie, but this movie's just more well made. It's freaking awesome, though. Like, it is so cool. The action in this movie is great. Dialogue great. Writing great. Everything in this movie coincides into being one freaking awesome movie. There's no Marvel movie for me that, at this point, I still like Infinity War a bit more. But I will be honest, guys, Winter Soldier and Avengers. Okay, I gave these movies 10 out of 10. Do they deserve it? Yeah, I think they deserve it. They're both great movies. But the thing about those movies is that if I were to give them a percentage, I give them both a 99%. And shocking twist, Civil War is actually not that. I'd give this movie exactly 100%. The first Marvel movie to ever legitimately achieve a 10 out of 10. And I'm going to do it. Because, what the heck? Captain America Civil War, you're freaking amazing. You get a 10 out of 10. I've been waiting to say that for months and months and months. It's been a while. What do you guys think on one of the greatest masterpieces of the MCU? If you don't think it's a masterpiece, really explain. I don't know anyone who doesn't really dislike this movie. I know some people are like, oh, it's okay. But just comment below what you think on Civil War. By 20-minute MCU review. Count it. I didn't even realize I spoiled the whole thing.